got to rise and shine. Make this day mine. You lazy, got no grind. If you ain't talking money, please don't waste my time.
We live right here in the middle of the map, Columbia, Missouri. You know who I am. It's your boy Paul with the man, the myth, the legend.
How you guys doing? I'm Aaron Favors.
That's right.
I'm a channel better energy
Right
as
on.
I get more comfortable.
I feel you, man. That's how I am too, man. Got to get a little comfortable with the camera, man. We're here today to talk about your podcast, Unified, right? And I'm here to help just introduce it and be just here to help. So tell me, what's Unified, the name behind it? Tell me a little bit about it.
So Unified is a response to what I see in our neighborhoods all around the country. You know, I've been about everywhere. My life has took me to from the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between. And the being from DC, spending my time in DC, I got to see a lot of black success. I got to see a lot of us working together. And then, of course, the flip side, I grew up during the time in DC when Rayful Evans was the man.
Okay.
And so I got to see the success in the street for a time. I got to see the addiction that happened, but then I also knew, you know, in my neighborhood there was the doctors, the lawyers, the police looked like me. You know, most of the teachers in the school looked like me. You know,
DC's Chocolate City, right?
yeah, DC is the original Chocolate City. So with that came a sense of self that isn't everywhere in the country, right? I think when you're dealing with your people more so than not, you don't have white noise, you know.
I know exactly what you're saying, though. Exactly.
So if you don't have the white noise, then you can focus on, you know, the opportunities that your people give you, because we make all the decisions.
So,
Whatever
you want me to do, bro, I'm good.
Okay.
Nothing you're saying, bro.
Okay. All right, then I'm gonna just keep running. Real quick, and then I'll pause a long pause.
I always come back and cut chocolate career, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So noticing that, you know, when I got to the Midwest, Minnesota was more so unified because there's a community up there called the Rondo neighborhood, and it was one of the first black affluent neighborhoods in the country as well.
The Rondo neighborhood, what city is that in?
St. Paul.
St. Paul.
You know, we call it the Selby side, where we're from. So it was family orientated, family basis. We was already building. When I got there, black folks had they had barber shops and the corner stores and mechanic centers and stuff like that. So industry was already rolling, even though the advent of the freeway had shut us down a lot up there too, stole away a lot of black homes. But it was still.
You said the freeway when they were building it, they stole away a lot of black homes.
Oh yeah, all around the country. Everywhere that freeway is through the neighborhood was a black business district and black homes.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
The destabilization of your community didn't start with the advent of cocaine or heroin. It started with the restructuring of your neighborhood and the theft of your property. So, anyway, I didn't even know I was gonna say nothing like that. But anyway,
I love learning, bro. So if I hear something, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So up there, though, you know, we had whole entire families committed to good, you know, and then we had a structure of business, of person, presence, and power that was pretty similar to DC already.
Okay.
But that was the North. So I went from the East, I went from the North Midwest, and then I came down here over time, you know. But between coming down here, I went to the West Coast, you know. I understand different trades and how that worked out west.
Okay.
You know, I met friends out west that I cherish to this day. And then I just seen the level of success between these three places, the West Coast, the Northern Midwest, and the East Coast, that gave me a sense of being unified, right? Like, okay.
Unification's where it's at.
Yeah, so when I got here, you know, I didn't understand the politics that would come into play in Missouri. First, I didn't understand the segregation at this level, right? So when I first got here, I used to be like, okay, why isn't there anybody really at the university that's from this town, you know, except for the servants, like service industry people,
right?
You know, So that was a problem. I couldn't understand that. And then when I went to the hospital, in the school hospital, I really didn't see minorities as doctors. And you know, I'm from a place in DC. You walk in that hospital, when you having a baby, the sister's black coming in there. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So the doctors is black, the OBGYNs is black, you know, the security that's protecting the floor is black or Hispanic now. You know what I'm saying? So when I didn't see us in these places, even though when I came here, I was in the street, you know, I didn't see us in these places, it raised a red flag. But then when I talked to my people here, I got even more concerned. Because I would hear when I would ask them why we ain't doing X, Y, and Z, I would hear them say, them people ain't gonna let us get away with this. And they ain't gonna let us do that. And they would look at me like, nigga, where you from? You know what I'm saying? And
I've heard that for years. I've heard it for years around here. Yeah, man. Like, before you even start thinking about ideas somebody shoot down, be like, the people ain't gonna let you do that. And if you, like, and me, I'm a go-getter. I don't really stop when people tell me no anyways. But I've seen people try to shoot down opportunities.
Think about where they're coming from, though. Not where you at.
Right.
Think about the mindset that told you the mysterious ass people ain't gonna let you do that. And then how many times you heard somebody that looked like you say them people ain't gonna let you do that. So when you're not from here, it raises, I keep going back to the red flag, because when you're not from here, you're gonna understand instantly that means two things. The people, whoever these people are, have mind control over Debo. You know what I'm saying? So you know they're really for real, because we rough here. We are strong people here. We're gonna stick together, and if you cross us, we're gonna knock you down here, right? But we only knocking each other down. You know? So if we only knocking each other down, and then when I tell you something positive, you tell me what them people ain't gonna do, then I'm gonna think them people got you knocking each other down. So on all levels, even with people that's been in business with me, I've had to treat them aggressive to get them to the next stage. And they don't really see themselves as a problem because they think they're slick enough to play politics. We're not. This is a system not built for us. So if you're playing politics in this system, you're playing according to their rules. We can't. We got to circumvent. The only way to circumvent is to remove the necessity to need the permission. The only way to remove the necessity to need the permission is to unify. Then we become the resource. They're no longer our resource. So if you got a camera and I want a podcast, right? And then I own a place where you want to do events. You have a skill. I have a skill. How we gonna get you moving forward if we ain't got no money? We're gonna trade skills. We're gonna unify and we're gonna trade skills, right? And then we're gonna do that at a mass level where we can't be denied. Once we can't be denied, we get sponsorship from outside the permission seekers. We get sponsorship outside of the permission givers. Once we get the sponsorship from outside the structure that's here, we don't need no no's from here. They can't tell us no. You see what I'm saying? So, unified, what it is it's a mindset that tells you got to pivot away from what you used to know, and you got to throw everything that tells you you can't do it away. You got to move away from a people even that tells you you can't do it, right? You got to move away from that mindset that them others, the mystical powered people, have over you, right? And you got to look inward. And you got to say, okay, if I'm telling them, oh, Big Daddies, I know there's a black farm in Fulton. I'm just gonna take a ride with no permission to this black farm and say, hey, what if I can get you at Big Daddy's as far as your produce goes? Would you be willing to sell wholesale to them cheaper than what they getting it for? And then I slide over to Meech and I say, what's up, Motivated? And I say, yo, Munchies, because he owns Munchies too, right? I say, yo, how much you paying for your produce? Now this is small scale stuff, right? But the energy.
The energy is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And what's happening is I'm working for our people without permission, right? So now if I'm getting you contracts and I'm working for you without permission, when I need you for something, simple as forgiving somebody else so we could come together, I'm gonna expect that forgiveness. You see, you don't owe me nothing, but I'm trying to contribute to your life in a way to where you'll give me the thing that it takes for our generations to move forward. So then I slide over to Papa Dudes, right? And I'm like, yo, Papa Dude, can I do the same thing, man? Look, we got produce over here. It's coming from a black farm. Straight to your table. We cutting out all of the transportation. You can even go get it and cut out the transportation fees. You know what I'm saying? What's up? It's 20 minutes away. It's 30 minutes away.
Exactly what you're getting to at that point, too.
There it is, right? So that's one industry. And then I say, okay, we got barbershops. We got 10 barbershops in 3 miles around this joint, right? But we still got a bunch of nappy-head little boys with low self-esteem in school.
True.
So now I say, yo, listen, can I sponsor 5 kids a week, right? But I need a deal on that.
Right.
So you sponsoring the 5 kids a week, and they might say, what's in it for me? I'm gonna say their parents, their cousins, their big brothers, everybody in their life that I'm not sponsoring. That's what's in it for you. I'm gonna get these 5 kids to come through the door. I need you to cut their head for $10. I'm gonna do $50 every week and pay you up front. You know what I'm saying? Tuesday morning, you're gonna get $50. And the only thing you gotta do when they in that chair is say, well, tell your brother about me. Tell your uncle about me. Here's a card for him. Here's a punch card. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you see, by Aaron helping these 5 kids, you know, maybe I'm at 5 different barbershops doing that. You don't know. But by Aaron helping these 5 kids, your business is improving, right? So that's economic security. Now I'm built, that's unified, right? Now, here we go. Now I'm unified over here. And this is 1-to-1. This is no giant ass, we're gonna sit in some meetings.
Right.
We're gonna have another meeting after another meeting. I'm trying to impact 1 to 5 people every day. That's my deal. And then I'm gonna hold you accountable to being unified once you start saying it. So if you tell me we're unified and you done bust this cat's noodles out his head, how is that? That ain't helping me.
It's not helping.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I go see you, I'm gonna be scratching my head like how you get to the other side of the glass on your people when we unify. You know, we might have a pool of money that we can pull brothers out for bail. You know what I'm saying? We gotta circumvent your situation because you use your anger on your people. So now that bail fund that we done established, being unified, we can't help you with that. You broke the rules.
Broke the rules. Exactly, certain rules. Exactly.
So all of these dreams and inspirations and aspirations and the hope that I got for this community, and I know if I can do it here, like Wichita's tapping in, Chicago done already tapped in, my little cousin in Minneapolis want me to come on up there and do Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I know my folk in DC is gonna love me. In fact, they're gonna look for the 501c3 situation for me, and that's Washington DC. So this thing is already tapping in.
Emotion.
Yeah. And so what unified isn't is divisive. You know what I'm saying? It's not a tool that we're gonna use to for one person to control the narrative. You know, I got a vision and I'm trying to put habits in place. You know what I'm saying? Where we got black companies everywhere. Just so you know, that's Tanya's company. If you go in my house, she's in every room. My kids' rooms, every room. This man already knows he's my favorite hat maker, clothing maker. He's down at the sharp end. This man knows him too. Motivated, my favorite clothing brand. He at the sharp end too. Every day, I got something on black. Every day, I'm pushing black folks. It's to the point now to where I started this thing in my head and just buying black since Nick. I had a cat named Nick Danger that I wanted to help. My son's 10, so this was probably 10 years ago. My 10-year-old was a baby, and Nick, I'm gonna get permission to tell this part because I never want to diminish a black man's character at all. But I felt like Nick was having a problem with the neighborhood respecting him. You know what I'm saying? Where people were approaching him like I didn't want them to approach him. I thought they should cherish his talent because he was young and he was just getting it. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, you need a stronger team. I stepped to the forefront of the team. I made the sweaters. My homeboy showed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was Nick, and everything positive Nick stands for.
Right.
But he had protection around him.
Right.
And it wasn't a Suge Knight style protection. It wasn't a Suge Knight style protection. It was, we love you, boy. Go forth. Show us how to be great. You know what I'm saying? Older cats coming together. and we would have knocked something down for the boy at the time because that's where my head was. But what ended up happening was, I think, he learned a few lessons during that time, but he also learned that he didn't need to compromise to get respect. You know, there was no way I was gonna let him hustle. And he's gonna tell the story on my documentary. You know, there was no way that he was gonna have to worry about eating. There was no way he was gonna have to worry about violence. You see what I'm saying? So with that, and then watching him grow into the man that he is, to where I think that boy got a good chance at mayor one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, to watch him grow into that, that's where it's at for me.
He's doing a good thing, man. I think Nick's very positive. I've been knowing Nick since we was kids. Like, we was kids. He's just kind of the same age frame as myself. And he ain't never been on nothing like silly, bro. I've never seen him on no bullshit. He's always on his grind, on his hustle. I ain't never seen him do no, like, nothing hot. You know what I'm saying? He's always on his grind, his hustle. That's what I respect about Nick, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's one focus, right?
One focus. He's always moving forward, bro. That's one thing about Nick, bro. That's one thing about him.
So with that,
that's my boy. I used to love sitting on my couch when he came up to Kansas City and everything.
Yeah, man, listen.
Yeah, that's my boy. He up there.
Listen, he got access. The one thing I'm gonna tell you is, because of his spirit, he'll have access in places where people that want access to them places won't
that
have
can't
access.
get access to the places. That's true.
You
That's
know
true.
what I'm saying?
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, me and him. Yeah, that's true though. He'll get in places where the people can't be sometimes, man. Like, I was talking to this girl down at the Chamber of Commerce, and she was talking to me about Nick. I was like, okay. Nick's in the same circles I'm in. Okay, I like that.
Dig this though. I'm in Minneapolis talking to the Asian homeboys.
He's probably up there too.
They said, where you at? I told them where I was at. They said, man, we just hired him to do a show. I said, did you?
What's up, man.
You know what I'm saying? I told them where I was at, and they asked me about him, and then they said we hired him to do a show. I came down here. They said, hey, man, I was in Minnesota. I said, I already know. The Asian boys. I think they was the White Tigers or something like that. But that's what I mean, like, good or bad, they want him. Their energy, that popping personality, that drive to sell, is everything. He knows no condition, right? He never said what them people wouldn't let him do.
That's true.
See what I mean?
That's true.
So if I can look at a young man that has no bars, no cuffs, no glass ceiling, no ceiling, and really no glass ceiling, right? Then I can say how to get there. He got there on the mindset that no matter what, I'm gonna push, right? So if I think about Unified, and the mantra is pushing with no permission, that's where that come from. I'm getting ready to push my people like a rapper want to push his music. I'm going to push my people like somebody hell-bent want to push their set. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready to push my people. And so I watch, the scariest part and the lessons in it though is the nip. You know, and not just because I'm a Crip, but when you unifying and when you doing all of this for your neighborhood, you know, you gotta watch for those that are in opposition. You know, there's a duality to everything, and no matter how much you love your people, there's threats. And so, this podcast hopefully helps people see, one, my journey, but then gives the voices that need the platform to talk about their journey. Ultimately, I'm hoping to go from the corporate world and unifying us as business owners to the families that need to be unified, to the young gangsters that need to be unified. And so that's the purpose and the goal of this podcast, is to figure out how to do that in truth and for me to be transparent while we're doing it.
I do appreciate you opening up your establishment for us to come really unified, for real, because a lot of people don't have a place where they can actually be themselves. You know, black people can actually be black around here, you know what I'm saying, without being judged, without being looked at a certain way, you know, so I do appreciate that. Now, I got a list of questions here. You want me to go on with the questions?
Yeah. Go ahead with the questions. I'm gonna be short-winded.
Okay. Well, this might be a deep question. Can you share your journey from a life in gangs and organized crime to seeking a more stable and positive path?
Yeah.
If you don't feel like sharing it, we do not have to go there. We could definitely.
Yeah, it's a little bit emotional.
Okay.
Because it happened so young. And man, I was talking to Stick. He's now that we're grown, he's my age, right? But when we were kids, 3-4 years apart, is a good distance, right?
Big difference.
So, and we didn't always get along. You know what I'm saying? They jumped on me a couple times because I was woof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was talking to Stick today. He's from Shotgun. He's from my set, and he's been through a lot. You know, he's been through a whole lot. He was incarcerated. Him and his homeboy robbed the situation. The police end up getting shot, and they sent him away. He came home. When he came home, you know, I approached him. You know, I wanted him to come with me.
Right.
Now, a lot of people like, well, didn't you say they just, he used to jump on me
Right.
a lot, but he taught me a lot of lessons. And when he was away, I thought about him often because he gave me a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? I never ran. If they was gonna beat on me, they was gonna beat on me. If I could steal on one of them real quick, I was stealing. I was taking off. You know what I'm saying? So, but it ended up being an inspiration for me to go hard in the set, right? And so when I was about 14, when I was 12, we left DC, we went to Minnesota. I didn't expect gangs to be a thing. I thought something totally different. I didn't expect gangs to be a thing. When I showed up in Minnesota, I think Colors was the only movie I had ever seen that had some Bloods and some Crips in it, right? So they shooting dice. Now we shooting dice in DC, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We clicked up. I'm from Mattapony, you know what I'm saying? Blazeburg, PG, shout out. But so it's a neighborhood. So we got the gang mindset, but we cliques and we crews and we from the different neighborhoods,
Right.
apartment complexes and stuff like that. But I never seen,
The gang.
yeah,
Blue, red versus each other.
Yeah.
Colors against each other, like.
yeah, I never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the big influence. The big influence, now that I look back on it, was everything that I didn't have, they had, right? So if I couldn't afford clothing, they had a way to allow me to afford that clothing. If I didn't have a sense of community, there was a sense of community. If I was alone, right? And then one or two homeboys would come around and they would be from this gang or that gang. My brother was a disciple, you know, so I was hanging around the disciples the first year I got to Minnesota, and I learned their handshake. It was the coolest, illest handshake I ever seen in my life. Like these boys got a handshake, you know. I'm going around town trying to do the handshake with white people. I ain't know no better, you know.
Right.
Until I was in high school, well into me falling in love with being from Shotgun, and one of the guys gave me the handshake, you know, because he know my brother's folks. And one of the other guys said, "Aaron, we love you, but you can't do that. You a Crip. You need to stand on that." And that was the defining moment. I know a lot of people like, duh, right? But for me, I'm from DC.
Right.
It's a whole lot of black love in DC.
Right.
So, you know, you go to a side of town, you might show them love the way they used to seeing it, right? They know you from Southeast.
Right.
You ain't from Northeast. Or you from Upper Marlboro, you ain't from you ain't from Blazeburg or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but they also know you trying to show love. Gangs ain't like that.
Right.
You can show love, but you can't never play with my set. You know what I'm saying? So I started to learn those rules, and when I started to learn, like, these cats from Shotgun is real serious, and we're a real small set, and everybody's scared of them because they get down, right? I started poking my chest, and even though, like, I was having problems, I was by myself, really. My uncle and them was from Shotgun, and they had the sack.
Yeah, real straight.
But, you know, I was... So, the influence of the sack, the influence of the brotherhood, the influence of being dangerous, and then commanding respect, right? I'm in love still with shotgun. I mean, there's not a day that I'm not proud of that set. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not proud of my stance in it. I'm not proud of how no matter where I'm at in the country, everybody around me knows that dude. I don't know what shotgun is, but that dude's from shotgun. You know what I'm saying? His fingers and look at his pictures. I'm with corporate American people. The Department of Energy, Washington D.C. I'm in Denver giving the key as a keynote speaker. Whole room full of people. The head of the Department of Defense standing next to a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you know they label us terrorists, right? Yeah. So I got shotgun. I'm throwing up shotgun. But it's at this point, it's about my growth. I never want to forget the lessons that I learned, because I'm only strong because those hardships made me strong. So the transition came into place. I'm sorry, let me talk about that. The transition came into place when...
Like the transition to what motivated you to become a business leader, or what navigated you from the challenges to leave your past behind? Which ones?
So, the transition in the business.
Okay.
Because there's stages, and leaving my past behind is hard, right? Because of the pain that comes with it. So I'm gonna just talk about transition in the business.
So, what motivated you to become a business owner and a community leader?
So the business owner was because I'm a felon. And I got tired of people telling me what I couldn't achieve and who wasn't gonna hire me. You know, it was the naysay and the stigma of I'll only be able to accomplish X, Y, and Z as a felon if I try to go work for somebody. And then the pain of being denied because you're a felon of employment you know you're overqualified for.
Well, I've been there.
You see what I'm saying?
So many times, for real.
So what ends up happening is you stop asking and you start planning. You know, so a lot of people around me think like, I'm SAC orientated without a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean SAC like drugs. Let me clear that up. I mean SAC like bags of money.
Like money motivated.
Yes. Okay. That thing. So I'm not. I'm SAC orientated because it's all I have to create some sort of legacy with. Right. I don't have the education that is gonna say, or the background that is gonna say, he's trustworthy at my corporation. He's gonna rise to the top in my corporation. I don't have the attitude that is humble enough, which means, let me tell you what humble means first, okay? Which means I see myself less than the man next to me. I don't have that attitude. That's what humble, it means you're seeing yourself less than.
Humble yourself. I hate when people say that.
No,
it's
no.
like,
I did to God.
Right.
Now I'm gonna look you right in your eyes and tell you what?
Right.
What we talking about right now?
Right.
How am I gonna humble myself to you, homeboy?
Right.
I don't trust you.
First of all, and then it's like, I'm the only person that's telling myself I'm great every day. I'm the only person that's telling myself I'm great every day. And I'm gonna humble myself, bro. I'm the only person telling myself I'm great every day.
Where am I gonna get that
Where
reinforcement
am I gonna
from?
get that from, bro?
See? And by the way, I act like this because I survived something. I went through something. I'm poking my chest out because it's a sense of survival. You see what I'm saying? It's not just about, this thing ain't just about you arrogant. See, this kind of, it ain't about arrogance, it's about survival. The reason why I take the air out of the room when I walk in that motherfucker is because it makes me safe for people to be nervous. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I stand up and I look people in the eye, no matter what it is, and I say, I ain't with it, or that's what we doing, is because I got direction for my life. And I can't put it in your hands because I don't know what you would do with it. You know? And the reason why I stop you 10 paces away before you get into my personal space is because I don't understand the intention until we have a conversation. All of this thing that y'all think is ego, or they think is ego out here, It's protection, and there's levels of it.
Bruh, I've been that way, man. There's certain people that I was close to. I won't even let my circle or even come close to me. They try to contact me through various means, bro. And I'm like, I can't even. I know what you've been on before. I can't even allow you in my circle, bro, because I know what it's gonna be in the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a protection right there in myself. Also, I was gonna say, man, people see your arrogance, but it's not. It's confidence, bro.
Yeah.
It's a difference. If you put in that work, you've been through something.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it turns into
it turns into confidence. It ain't that I'm arrogant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you work hard enough, you should be proud of what you do.
That's it, right? That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You
don't-
should feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
And when you really, really, really know who you are, can't nobody little boy you. It's impossible for somebody to little boy you. Can't nobody little paper you. You can't big paper me, little paper me. We ain't finna do that. You know I'm fly, been fly all my life, so we ain't gonna go with if I got a complex about no woman neither, because they want me more than I want them. You see what I'm saying? All of these things happen, and if I'm lying to myself, I don't care. I feel good about it. You see what I'm saying?
For real.
You see what I'm saying? So with the business thing, it was really a necessity of, if I get told too many times no, it might hurt my willingness to try. You know what I'm saying? So business took many forms. Business took different street forms at first. It didn't take legitimacy. You know, I went from, I want to hang out, smoke some weed, khakis, t-shirt, Chuck Taylors, look like the crowd, to, okay, we squabbing. My square friends are some squabbers. The sports friends that I had were some squabbers. The gangsters were some squabbers. Sometimes the sports friends were squabbing more than the gangsters were squabbing, you know? So I had a bunch of squabbers around me. So we was always dirty and getting into it with people, a lot of times older than us, because we sneaking into college parties as little boys and having to squab with the fraternities, you know? So it went from that to, I want one of them bags on the table at the big homie's house. When I was 15, I seen my first kilo. Right? Wasn't mine. There go one, there go one, there go one, there go one. These is kilos. Now, back then, kilos look different than what you see on the TV, because it'd just be 36 onions in a bag. You know what I'm saying? So they'd be wrapped up already. That cat, we cooking all night. The little homeboys is cooking. You know what I'm saying? We learning how to stretch work, cook work, young. And then they giving us shit like 8 balls and quarters and telling us to get on our way. You know what I'm saying? So, you do that enough though, shit, you got 2-3 ounces. You know what I'm saying? And all you did was stretch your homeboy's work. And he taught you, he just didn't want to do it no more. Now there was 2 sides to that coin, and I'm from the deuce, so I always. But the 2 side is one. You getting work, right? You getting work, but also you cooking. You getting addicted to the process. As a man, I know, right? You don't think, like, I never done cocaine. I never would do cocaine. You see what I'm saying? The only drug I've ever done was marijuana, period.
Me too.
Okay. So, but this is what I want to tell you. I cooked so much work. I mean, so much work in my lifetime that not selling cocaine for a long time wasn't an option. Period. And I couldn't figure out why it wasn't an option. I was addicted to the process. I'm still getting high, just in a different manner, right? So, I mean, we working, and we got this sack, we building. So by the time I was 16, we was able to just come across onions real easy. You know, and again, an onion back then wasn't nothing but an ounce, wasn't nothing but like $6.50. You know what I'm saying? $600, $6.50, shit like that. So excuse me for cussing so much, but it's the nature of the conversation we have. So that was my first business, right? My first business was, I'm gonna cook this work, I'm gonna get paid in work so I could go hustle, and I don't have no re-up money. You know what I'm saying? So Boom, I got in the door like that. Now my uncle would never let, my uncle would right hand to God for my family members. My Uncle KLC never gave me no work a day in my life. Never gave me no gun a day in my life. Period. In fact, he was into it one time, accidentally handed me the pistol and took it back right away and handed it to another cat. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't want me in jeopardy, even though he had me in jeopardy.
Right on.
It's just I wasn't going to go. No, there was no way that I wasn't finna be from shotgun. There was no way I wasn't getting ready to hustle.
You was born into it.
It was
pretty much. Whenever you was,
yeah.
I don't want to say you were born into it, but whenever you moved to that section in Minnesota, it sounded like that's just where you was at.
Yeah.
You at what, 13, 12, 13, 14?
Yeah.
That's the most influential as a young man. Your mind still developing. You starting to get your muscles. You starting to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Starting to go through puberty. Your voice starting to get a little deeper.
Yeah.
That's when you start developing your sense of who you are around
That's
that
right.
age.
You
So
get that right on the money.
there's a lot of stuff that I still do, or a lot of music I listen to from when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. I'm like, man.
That to me that drags me back to them times.
Yeah, no.
And I forget my age. I just know the feeling.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I often have to be careful. In fact, it ain't always like I don't always need to listen to pop.
Picture you holy.
I don't right. Yeah, I don't always need to listen to him.
That's kind of true though, man.
You
I
know?
remember a couple summers ago, all I was listening to was All Eyes on Me. And I was just on some, my mind was just on some, I'm a shark out here type shit.
Yeah.
like
Which ain't bad.
Which ain't bad. Which ain't bad.
Put the direction to it.
Right. I was thinking I had bitches, hoes and busters after me, like Pac said on his track. You know what I'm saying? Like you thinking like,
listen, I'm an old head.
Ugh.
Mozzie did it for me. He a blood.
Yeah.
I've never I never opened my mind up except for Norman, Nino Williams. There was a hilltop that loved me from the time he met me to the time we had to depart because of the level of depression, rightfully so, that he went through when his brother died and then he got shot and paralyzed.
Oh man.
Right? So it came a time when he let me go, told me to go type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And there wasn't really nothing I could do about it because there was episodes that we had during that time that looked like betrayal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll talk about that in the documentary. But it really wasn't. I was just trying to protect two people from each other. But anyway, I never lent my ear to the blood way of life.